Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at Pawniard in the Halloween Cup, and I was able to climb up to 2901 MMR with this Pokemon and with a very interesting, more spicy team, as you're going to see here on the right side. We're going to have the lead of Dragalge, which is going to be a very interesting Pokemon this meta, as you're going to be able to kind of wall a lot of the other poison type Pokemon while doing very much damage there with your fast move of the Dragon Tail. Also, our Scizor for this team is going to be Scizor, a Pokemon that is well known, but not with the fast move that I'm using, which is going to be Scizor. And you see already the matchup why I'm using it. Against Greninja, you're going to be able to win the 2-shield scenario fairly easily because you do super effective damage, while also being able to generate energy a little bit faster than with Bullet Punch, which is really cool. So here we're going to be able to take advantage of this. Gonna get some damage onto the Nidoqueen. You see already how this team is going to function. We're going to have 2 full sets here today to take a look at. Everything that I played with the team is going to be in this video, nothing cut out. So you see every good and bad matchup here, while this is going to be a win. Next one coming up, we're going to encounter now the Dragalge against Scizor. That's going to be a little bit of a difficult one for us. We're going to swap out into our own Scizor, which is going to get greeted by a Toxicroak. Those matchups going to happen with every kind of team. There's always going to be a hard counter line up to another team, but here we're still going to be able to get a shield advantage. Sadly not reaching another charge move, but I can at least swap back into my Dragalge. But this is not going to be the best matchup here, as the opponent going to have the super effective Mud Bomb against me, of course. I'm going to use a shield here, but I'm still going to be forced to go for the Awkward Tail as soon as we're going to get there. So again, we're going to be kind of in a very tough spot, but I can still swap into my Pawniard, which is going to be a shiny rank 1 variant. I was so lucky getting this during, I think, the Global Go Fest last time around. So I'm super happy that I have this Pokemon, and I'm going to use it here against the Azumarill. And yes, this team is struggling against Azumarill, but I haven't really encountered too many Azumarill over the last games that I played. I already played a lot of them. Actually, another team that you're going to see tomorrow I played already, but I kind of want to bring this out a little bit before. So, yeah, like I didn't really see a lot of Azumarill, and here I encounter one immediately, basically, and this is not going to be the only one I encounter. But still, it's going to be a very interesting team here, and definitely works out even against Pokemon like this, even though, of course, it's a little bit tricky against Azumarill. Here we're going to now see the matchup that you really want to see as a Pawniard, because you're going to match up now against the opponent's Mandibuzz. This is going to allow us to go for an Iron Head. This Iron Head is going to be able to do some decent damage, but we resist every single charge move or fast move of the opponent here, which is going to be amazing for me, as I will always be able to win this matchup in general. You're going to see a little bit of like clunky animations and whatever. This was also for me. I don't know what was happening, but this game was a little bit laggy for me in general, like the entire games that you're going to see here. I think it was just raining outside. You don't see rain in the background here. You can actually turn this off. If you didn't know this, you have to just close the app, basically turn off location, and then reopen the app, and then you can have to put on the location again when you're in the battle tab. So like basically the background is like this. Helps out the game maybe a little bit, but does not really make too much of a difference. But what does make a difference here is going to be our fast move against the opponent's Swiders, because it's going to allow us to do more damage against the opponent. As well as we can let this move go through, it's going to be the Body Slam, but I will be able to now farm them down afterwards with my Dragalge having 2 shields advantage. Is all it takes to win this game. Moving on to the next one, we're going to encounter an Azumarill in the lead. And that's exactly the matchup that you don't want to face, and especially if you get hardwalled immediately afterwards. And like those things, again, just do happen. Like you're going to have always some kind of teams that are going to hardwall you. This is insane amount of spice by the opponent, and I would not really say that this is something that you're going to commonly face. Here, of course, it's going to completely destroy me, but I cannot really do anything about it. But I'm still going to try my best here. I'm still going to try to win this game. But again, Azumarill is a little bit of a trickier one there. Again, I don't really face it at least too much before. Now I face it twice at least so far against me, but still I went up with this team. I went a total of 7-3 I think with this team, so I'm totally happy with that. I will be able to still go for the Iron Head against the opponent, and we can see maybe there's still a chance for me. I will get a lot of damage here onto the opponent as I'm going to use a shield, but of course our fast move is resisted. Iron Head is not really the best move ever, so like I wish there would be a better charge move or something from the steel typing. But as we're going to see, we're going to use both of the shields, and we're going to encounter a Frostus in the back, which would have been a great matchup for me if the opponent didn't have 2 shields left. So I will be able to still try to get to the Iron Head, just in case I let this move go through. It would one-shot them, but the opponent plays it safe, of course, and just going to knock me out, which is going to be a good game. Again, completely hardwalled from the beginning. There was no lot that I can do about it. Moving on to the next game, we're going to have the Toxapex in the lead, and that's going to be an amazing lead for me, as I will be able to just go ahead and go for the next charge move there for the Outrage. That's exactly why we're going to have the Outrage as well, as it's going to be a positive matchup for you. You're going to be able to do so much damage as the opponent decides to swap out into the Carbink, allowing me to swap into my own Pawniard, allowing me to go for an Iron Head, and also either get the shield advantage or the knockout or whatever. But actually, the Iron Head only does around like 70% damage against our Carbink, so like they would actually still survive it from this range as well, as far as I know. So it's not really that ideal, but I think that this is only going to be a Rock Slide after they went for a Rock Slide before, so I will be able to let this move go through. I can go for my Iron Head now, and with the fast move damage, they should be kinda in range where I can just go for the Iron Head to knock them out. But as you're going to see in a later game, Iron Head actually does not do as much damage as you might expect, even though it's double super effective plus stab. It's actually not as great, as the opponent gonna go for a charge move here with a Toxapex. It's going to be fine for me, as I can just swap back into my Dragalge. I have the shield advantage, I have switch advantage, I have energy advantage, and I still have a 100% HP Pokemon in the bag. So this is just looking so good for me. I can still go for an Outrage here, doing a ton of damage against the opponent's Mandibuzz, allowing me to swap out into my Scizor and just making basically the finishing blow here with one Iron Head. It's all it takes basically to knock them out. I can go for the Iron Head here right now, and this should be already the knockout against the opponent's Mandibuzz, and this is going to be a very good game. Moving on to the next game, we're going to have the Toxapex in the lead. This is going to be again a very decent matchup for us, as our lead is going to be able to kind of wall this Pokemon. And so, while I had some Azumarills as well, I have to say also that I had some very decent leads here with the Toxapex, but also just in general, Dragalge wins a lot of leads in the current meta. I went ahead, and in recent videos, I cannot do it for every video, by the way, I pre-produced some, and I think it's going to be a little bit awkward to figure that out. I put basically timestamps with the leads basically in the description. So I looked at those and saw what is kind of common in the current meta, and there are a lot of poison type leads, like so many poison type leads, that something like this is a very strong idea, like again the Dragalge here, but also I thought of something like Wormadam would be also a very strong Pokemon in the current meta as a lead. Maybe I make a video about it, maybe not, who knows. But I will be able to now go up against the Greninja. We have some lag here again, but I will be able to go for the Night Slash and gonna get them low. Maybe could have undercharged it a little bit more, but we will see the opponent having their own Pawniard in the back. And they make a great play here. Great catch onto the Toxapex. I could have most likely completely undercharged it here, but it's going to be okay for me, as I can still go for another Night Slash. And I just have to get rid of the final shield by the opponent, as they're still going to have an Awkward Tail stored in the back, so I just have to get rid of that final shield. I'm going to let this move go through. It's going to be the Night Slash, which is fine for me because I still survive it. We have a CMP here, which should allow me to now swap out afterwards, go for the charge move, and I should be able to win this game here with the incoming Awkward Tail from my Dragalge, and this is going to be it for this one. Again, good game to the opponent here, as we can move on to the next one. And next game coming up, we're going to have the Mandibuzz in the lead. This is going to be a fairly neutral one for me, and I maybe make a little bit of a mistake. I think next time around, I should stay in for a little bit and do some damage with my Dragon Tail. This is like one of my earlier games. Again, like the order is not always the order that the games actually are. I think they order it kind of by length of the video or something, but yeah, I don't know. Like it's not in order. Basically, this is one of my earlier games I played with the team. I think my third game or something. So it's just something that you can kind of learn from. Like you kind try to see, okay, what can I do better for the next time? And here, for example, I am not able to realign. The opponent has a ton of energy, as well as I have to get basically into my final Pokemon, allowing the opponent to maneuver around. So this is not really the ideal scenario for me either, so it's not really looking too great for me yet. But maybe I still have a chance here though. But again, if I went for a few Dragon Tails, maybe even a charge move in the beginning, and just weaken a little bit of the opponent's Mandibuzz, I most likely would have been in a better place. You're going to have a Toxapex against me, and maybe I'm just going to be able to still win in the end game, but we will find out here that the opponent going to run the Greninja in the back. So a fairly meta line here again with Greninja, as well as the Toxapex, as well as the Mandibuzz. A very, very meta line here, but you can just go for the Awkward Tail, gonna get the shield from the opponent. As I'm going to let this move go through, maybe I should shield this one up as well, but I think, at least I thought that I wouldn't get to the next charge move here in time, so here I will still be able to get the knockout. Maybe I actually should shield this one up, to be fair, but I can just go ahead and go for a little bit of fast move damage there. I have to go straight for the Night Slash against the opponent, and I have to hope for a boost here. If I get an early boost, this game is actually over and we would be able to win this game. But again, I was definitely a little bit more luckier with those Pokemon with a boost, but not really that commonly as well. I'm definitely way below odds, again, like for both of my Pokemon with the boost that I had. Don't know, Night Slash is not my friend recently, but I will be able to still go for an Iron Head just for fun because I know this game is over. They had a Brian, and this is going to be it for this one. Moving on to the next one, we're going to encounter the Umbreon in the lead, which is going to be an okay matchup, but again, we kind of want to swap out. It's definitely better for me to swap out here than against, for example, the Mandibuzz, but we will see now the Toxapex swapping back in, allowing us to go for the Night Slash, and maybe, just maybe, we finally get a boost here, which we don't, but maybe the next one gets us a boost, who knows? So we will find out shortly. It's going to be another Night Slash, and actually this is, I think, the only boost that I got, so that's great again. At least I do a little bit more damage here, which in hindsight maybe is even more of a worse thing for me because I get less farm now on my Dragalge. So again, I think the boost actually was more negative for me. Like if I got it like after the first one, I would have been fine because I would have done more damage forcing the opponent to throw early. But like this, I just basically gave myself less energy to farm. But it doesn't really matter because Pawniard breaks the core of the Carbink plus the Umbreon. And luckily the opponent decided to swap out here because this is going to allow us to just go for the Iron Heads. I will go for another one here trying to get the knockout against the opponent as they decide to shield this move up. I can now basically go for the Night Slash as I can just go there immediately basically. This will be able to get the last shield from the opponent as I decide to use my own shield here. Maybe it's a Moonblast. I think I have a move stored on my Dragalge, but I'm not sure about it, and I don't have one stored. So I'll let this next move go through. It's going to be just the Rock Slide. I can still survive it, and I can go for the Awkward Tail, forcing the opponent to throw move with their Umbreon, and this will allow me also to do some more damage with my fast move. Not that much, but a little bit, and I can let this move go through, hoping that my Pawniard in the back is going to be able to knock them out. But I'm not sure how much damage actually the opponent's Umbreon is going to do here. So I have to hope that I can survive at least one charge move from the opponent, but I don't think I would be able to. But I can still go for another charge move here, and they have like nearly 100 energy already, and they decide to go for another fast move for whatever reason, allowing me to win the game. Next one coming up, we're going to have a Toxicroak against us in the lead. This is going to be okay for me as well, as I can just go ahead and go for some Awkward Tails against the opponent. I can use a shield and I should be able to win this in a 2-shield scenario basically, but kinda you want to keep some shields around for your backline. I will be able to go for the Awkward Tail, and they let this move go through, allowing me to swap out immediately into my Scizor, because yeah, the opponent going to have their own Scizor in the back, and I kind of misplay this maybe a little bit. I did not expect that this Night Slash is going to do that much damage, but I can at least still go for my own Iron Head just for fun. I think both are doing around the same amount of damage, I would imagine. So we will basically get a shield from the opponent, but this is basically everything that my Scizor was able to do here, as I can still go for Night Slash with my Pawniard getting the last shield of the opponent, as I have to hope that they're going to only have really resisted moves here. They could have something like the X-Scissor, but of course they're not running it here. I'm still going to shield the first move, expecting the Iron Head, but they decide to go for back-to-back Night Slashes. They get the boost, which does not really matter too much because this Night Slash should get the knockout against the opponent, and I'm happy about this, as they're going to run Greninja in the back. I tried to catch a move here. As you saw, worked out extremely well for me, as they're gonna go for the Night Slash here, but I was able still to go for an Outrage. I don't think they expected it too fast, and there's going to be a big boom to win the game. Moving on to the final game of today's video, we're going to have now the Toxapex against us in the lead, as they're going to swap out into the Runerigas. I should have played this one out differently. I should have went ahead and went for an Awkward Tail first, because the biggest move they have basically against me would be like Shadow Ball, and I should have just tried to stay in here, because it's now going to be a very awkward matchup for me, because the opponent going to outspeed me with their fast move. So we generate energy at the same pace as the opponent, but we need a little bit less energy. So the opponent decides to let this move go through, which I'm actually happy about because I can realign, but it's still going to be an uphill battle as the opponent swaps back in their Toxapex here. I will go for Night Slash, and we will be able to still go for another Night Slash afterwards, but again, it does not really help us too much. It's not really gonna do too much damage here. We can actually get another boost here, never mind, which we literally just saw for 1 second, but I can still realign here my Pokemon, so I can at least go ahead and go for my Scizor, which will get to those Night Slashes fairly fast. But honestly, I was surprised on how much damage the Scorching Sand was doing, because now I'm going to be forced to swap out into my Dragalge, and they most likely going to outspeed me here. I'm in a really tough spot, especially as the opponent makes a great play here in terms of the fast move timing. I have to hope that I can outspeed the opponent with the Awkward Tail, but I don't think it's going to happen here. As we can see, the opponent is actually not getting to the move. So this is actually going to be a close one. Let's see if we can still win this game. The opponent is, of course, still the Toxapex here, which has a ton of energy prior already. They do great job again for the fast move timing. They go for the Sludge Wave, but maybe 2 Brines would have been the play for the opponent because he can still reach the Outrage, and this is going to be it. This team was a lot of fun to play, a little bit more of a different kind of approach to the meta right now, and as you can see here, I was able to get up to 2900 MMR with this one here, so definitely a strong team. Check that one out. Also, check out the videos on the screen, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.